Morning, and welcome to the most important electric Mercedes so far. This, my friends, is the new EQS, and it's the first electric Merc to be built on proper EV architecture, but more to the point, it's the type of car that Mercedes do best, a big luxury four-door saloon designed as much for the rear seat occupants as those in the front. In other words, a direct rival to the legendary Mercedes S-Class, the car that has dominated this space for 50 years. Now, the question we want to find the answer to today is, does the EQS have what it takes to lure the rich and famous out of their gas guzzlers? Well, to find out, as you can tell by my excellent hat, I'll be spending the day as a personal chauffeur to a VVVIP. This is the Mercedes EQS, and this is fully charged.
Yes, it's the great EV giveaway. Don't forget to subscribe and enter for your chance to win all sorts of prizes, including one of 4 electric cars.
I think he's not quite ready yet. Let's focus on the car for a little while, shall we? Well, welcome to the outside of the Mercedes EQS. Let's start with this. Tell me if you've ever seen a bigger boot in your life. It's an absolute monster. One of the perks of dedicated EV architecture, lots of space for your occupants, tons of room for your bags. As for the rest of the outside of this car, I mean, that's not really the outside, it's sort of the inside, is it? But as for the rest of the outside, what do you think? I think it's a bit of a blob, this thing. I'll be completely honest, slightly underwhelmed by how this car looks in the metal. When you consider what other high-end luxury cars look like, your Rolls Royces and your Bentleys, it just lacks a bit of presence. I mean, what's the point of spending all this money if you can't drive around looking like a Bond villain? I will say this one is beautifully spec'd. This bluey purple colour with the silver and black accents is really improving things for me, but I've seen them in other specs and it's just a tad forgettable as a shape. However, there is reason for its general blobbiness, and that is aerodynamics, because get this, the Mercedes EQS has a drag coefficient of 0.20, which makes it the most aerodynamic road car ever made. And when you combine that with a 107 kilowatt hour battery, the result is monster range. Merc will claim up to 480 miles. In terms of real world range, I think north of 400 is very, very feasible. Range monster, this thing. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to cope with closing my own doors ever again. Right. This is the inside of the EQS. This is what it's all about. It is a sight to behold, this cabin. In terms of luxury, the quality of the materials, it's something we have not seen on an electric car before. The Audi e-tron GT, it gets close, but this is just that next cut above. This wood in the middle here, I can feel the grain of the wood, and it's just gorgeous. This leather is from only the softest cows. The metal, the speakers down here and the air vents, they are works of art in their own right. Every single detail in here, the contrast stitching, the two-tone leather is so premium. This steering wheel, I'll be damned if this isn't the best looking steering wheel I have ever seen in my life. Very few companies are better than Mercedes when it comes to this stuff, and as a result, this is the most premium feeling electric car interior we've ever seen. Elephant in the room, this is quite a big screen, isn't it? Yeah, this is called the Hyperscreen. It's actually 3 screens. We've got a massive one in the middle, one for our passenger, and of course one serving my gauge cluster. Now, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this. I remember seeing it in the pictures and thinking, fingerprints. And yes, it's an absolute fingerprint monster. It is quite remarkable to look at, and what you may not see on camera is it's quite nicely curved as well, and it's fairly friendly to use. I've always found with Mercedes software, it's a bit intimidating at first. You really need to know your tech because there's so much customization, so much that you can fiddle with if you want to, but once you know what you're doing, it's really, really good. Here's something I really like. The navigation is exceptional on this car, and when I plug a route in, if I press this EQ button here, I get all sorts of options. So it's telling me where I might want to stop. Actually, sorry, that's telling me where the traffic is. But if I press this one here, range, it's giving me lots of options to maximize my range. So it's saying, look, if you enable eco drive functions, which makes the car a tiny bit slower, you can have another 23 miles of range. Das ist precision. Like that feature very much. Big, responsive screen, as you'd imagine. All kinds of fancy toys in here. For example, a few of my favorites. If we go into comfort, what kind of massage does Sir fancy today? Hot relaxing back massage, a classic massage, a deep workout. This one's quite interesting. Not quite sure what it is yet. It's called energizing comfort, and it sort of turns your car into a little portable spa. Ambient sounds. I've got a little bit of massage going on. I'm guessing that this is when you're sat outside your 8 AM meeting where you may or may not be about to fold the company and you need a bit of calming energy. This is what the EQS can provide you with. Round the side of the car, a couple things to note. Well, you've got that very slippery, aerodynamic, slightly frumpy shape. We've got huge 21-inch wheels on this thing, and look how normal sized they look on this car. You could fit 22s quite happily. Smaller wheels are available for those of you that want maximum squish. Here's something that I need to talk about. This car, again, beautiful paint job. One of the options available is a two-tone paint. The top half is black, the bottom half I think is silver. Fantastic, except instead of a neat line running across the car, this bonnet panel is one colour and these bits are a different colour. You can't unsee it once you see it. Someone told me about this on Reddit and I can't stop thinking about it. We'll flash a picture up. I'm being very pedantic, but it made my brain hurt and now I can't stop thinking about it. Anyway. Couple of other things of note. Well, as you can see, they've gone for the transmission tunnel, although obviously we don't need one. This could just be empty space. There's a big storage bin down here with a handy strap to strap your baggage down. Inside here, a couple of cup holders, wireless charger, USB-C ports inside of here, another wireless phone charger, two more USB-C ports. You can charge about 1 million things at once in here. I think my biggest complaint with this cabin is this down here, and this is all in the name of preserving the no button Hyperscreen aesthetic. What we have is our climate controls, and they're just little touchscreen buttons. Now, you tell me, would it not be a bit better if it was a lovely metal rotary dial like this beautiful one I have here for the windscreen wipers, cool to the touch and tactile to use? Don't have to look at it while driving instead of doing this to get every degree of warmth that you want. It's a small example of design over functionality, I think. And the Hyperscreen is beautiful, but I can't help but wonder if it would have been nice to just have a couple of buttons and switches down here. That being said, a truly remarkable interior. Around the front of the car, well, nothing too much to report. This face is beginning to be quite familiar now. It's very similar across the EQ models. I'm not crazy about it, but again, very slippery, very effective. This grille design I really quite like. It's got little 3-pointed stars, the original Mercedes logo. I'm not actually sure you'll be able to option that in the UK. I really hope so, because it's a nice... Oh, hang on. The Lordship is here.
Scarlett, get my overnight, will you? Good man. Good man.
Rock collection.
Okay, that's good.
Lovely.
What, are you not shutting my door for me, Scarlett?
Oh, certainly, sir. There we are.
Oh.
Is that okay?
It's very nice.
Fabulous.
Oh, I like the way it tightens. It closes, then it goes, tightens it up.
Closes and then it seals you in. We're now airtight.
So you have to go around there.
Oh, the rear wheel steering.
Rear wheel steering.
Dividends there, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
That is uncanny.
That's
now we're in it.
remarkable. That
Yeah,
is
and we're doing very
remarkable.
tight turns.
Agility for such a big car.
Wow. Yeah.
What we have here is the Hyperscreen.
Right.
This is 3 enormous touchscreens, one serving the passenger. Were you inclined to sit in the front, which I know you had your feelings on that,
Of course not. One couldn't do that.
Theoretically, if you were, you could connect Bluetooth headphones to this screen and you could watch a movie.
Oh, you're kidding.
Very, very fancy. There is also the option to spec the rear seats with screens and a little tablet to control the climate control, but I know that you prefer to speak through me on such matters.
I certainly do. But I just want to say, in terms of comfort for a rear seat, I can't think of what else I've been in that is on this level. I am so comfortable. And I know you're a very tall driver, so the seat is back further than I would have it if I was driving.
No shortage of leg room?
No shortage at all. I've got loads of room.
How are you for seat adjustment? Can you customise much back there?
I can't do that much. I've had a go with the buttons. I can go up and back a bit. That's about all I can get. The buttons are a bit, so now it's pushing me forward a bit more.
Must say so. These head cushions are just
The head cushions are
to
fantastic.
die for, aren't they?
Yeah, those are brilliant. But yeah, I haven't got as much. I think you've got much more adjustment in your seats. I mean, obviously the back seats are kind of built into the body of the car, but there is room to go back. And there is a nice. Oh, is that an armrest? Oh, hello. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Armrest with a phone charger.
That's a wireless phone charger.
Let me see if that does. Yes!
Oh,
my God!
That's good. That is good.
I'm very happy now.
If I'm not mistaken, sir, I think we just give
There's a
this
bit of cup holder.
a little double push.
Oh,
Okay.
I could have my
there you
little.
go.
Well, obviously it wouldn't be coffee for me; it would be whiskey.
Your stiff one first thing in the morning, of course.
A bit of a stiff one so I can get to the club in the right frame of mind.
Now, driving the Mercedes EQS, the emphasis is of course on comfort, luxury, peace, and it's a very relaxing car to drive, completely effortless. The steering, very, very light. The acceleration, powerful but smooth. It is quite a fast car, and it does handle better than you might expect thanks to all those batteries in the floor. There's even a sport mode in case Sir needs to get to the airport quickly ahead of an extradition of some sort. But we won't talk about sportiness today because it's just not really appropriate in a car like this. One thing that I have been incredibly impressed with, one of the coolest party tricks I think I've ever seen on a car, is its ability to change the wing mirrors based on which one I'm looking at. So down here, I've got my usual controls for the wing mirrors, and I can press left or right, but I don't have to. I can just look at that one. Look, it's moving it!
Oh my God, that is.
And if I look
freakish.
over here, that is spooky.
Yeah.
And the reason it's able to do that, among many, many other things, is because at any given time, the Mercedes EQS is measuring 350 different metrics. There are sensors measuring 350 different things, ranging from the weather to the speed that we're doing, to our geographical location, to, and I'm not joking, how many times the driver is blinking. That's one thing I was meaning to ask you about, sir. What's your take on all the leather in here?
So this is real leather then? Is this what we're talking about?
This is the real thing.
It's
You
not,
can
it's
spec
not pleather
not
or
pleather.
vegan leather.
There are options for vegan interiors, but
Oh,
this
right.
one is absolutely clad in cow, as you can see.
I mean, I think that I'm sure it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but while people are eating beef, if you're going to kill the cow, what are you going to do? Throw the leather away? You may as well use it. It's a really good, useful material. And I'm speaking as an old shoemaker who used to make shoes out of leather when I was a vegetarian. And there were some contradictions in my life at that time. But you know that. So it's going. It's a bad thing to say. You know, if you're eating a steak and you're saying, "Well, the cow was already dead." Yes, it was, but it might not have been had you not eaten the steak. But you know, if the cow's already dead and you're eating the steak, use the leather in something that lasts a long time.
Interesting. It's not the answer I was expecting, I have to say.
I know.
And it is incredibly supple.
But that's so. I mean,
These cows live good lives.
Oh my God! Even like the back of your chair.
Oh yeah.
Which is will be
Whole
a
dash
molded
here.
plastic type of material, but it's covered in leather.
It is.
Oh my God! All the armrests, the door interiors. You're right. It's. Oh dear. I feel guilty now. But,
Almost too much cow.
It's a lot of cow.
How many cows died? That's what I'm wondering.
This sitting in this car is like sitting in a butcher's shop window.
Very, very droll, sir. Very droll.
Thank you, Scarlett. I do enjoy it when you laugh at my jokes.
Can I interest you in a massage, sir?
Oh. Does that do? Can you massage me?
Well,
you can massage me from the front. All of it sounds wrong.
Unfortunately, only the front seats get massaged, but I could
right.
describe it to you if you like. I think I'll have an activating massage today. Oh yes, that does seem a strange oversight that only the front seats get the massaging.
Yeah.
You do get heated and cooled seats in the back there, which is a nice touch, but I can't shake the feeling that maybe Mercedes are just holding back a little bit for what will inevitably be the range-topping Maybach EQS, which will have private jet luxury in the back.
Yeah. Yes, this is sort of business class, high-end business class, really one of the nicer airlines business class, but it isn't first class yet. But I can imagine it would be. I mean, I've been in the back of a Maybach, I never know how to say it, and it was just, I mean, a petrol engine one a few years ago, and it was comical because that lifted your feet up and sprayed you with unguents. It was like, and that had screens coming out your backside, you know, so you could watch the telly in the back. And you could also recline right back, you know, so that you were like almost lying down, and it was very, very extreme, that one was.
I'm afraid I have no unguents to spray you with today.
You know I love to be sprayed with an unguent.
Oh, sir.
On my way to a meeting with the 1922 committee to prolong the use of fossil fuels.
Something well worth mentioning that will be standard on all EQSs is rear wheel steering. Now, as I understand it, the entry-level cars will come with basic rear wheel steering, 4 degrees of angle, but the higher spec cars like this one are capable of turning the rear wheels 10 degrees, which is a lot. And it is truly baffling driving a car this big and long, over 5 meters, that has such maneuverability. That was a very narrow driveway that we were squeezing out of earlier, and it was an absolute doddle. Another feature on this car that is quite a big deal, not only is this the first Mercedes to use a bespoke EV architecture, it's also the first electric Mercedes to be compatible with over-the-air updates. So this big monster screen setting will be subject to tweaks and updates and changes, and it will just get steadily better and more usable over time, just like it has in Teslas. And I think that's a good thing, because if I'm being very honest, this is beautiful to look at and pretty nice to use, but there's room for improvement here and there.
Because that is going to be the thing, is how this compares to the latest iteration of the Tesla Model S, which is of a similar size.
Similar size.
And probably similar price, in fact, to get, you know,
I think roughly similar, yes.
Roughly similar.
And I think the sort of base long range Model S is about 90 grand these days.
Right.
So you could probably just about, look at this.
Look at that. That is ridiculous that you can do that.
Crazy.
What? That's a 3.10 in a hatchback. And that is amazing. When you the cameras are ridiculous. So if you give it a bit of flooring, and it makes that noise.
Adequate.
I like that noise.
There is an optional alternative noise if you prefer, sir. Let me show you.
Yes, please take me through the noises.
We have 2 noises for our sound experience. What you just heard is Vivid Flux. A little bit spaceshipy.
Yeah.
We also have Silver Waves, which is a little more V80 perhaps, a little more combustion engine.
A bit more throbby in the lower ranges.
It's not a slow car.
That is extraordinary. You know, like, you can imagine, like, you pick someone up who doesn't know anything about cars, not interested, doesn't care about electric cars, nothing, and they get a ride in this, and you do that. You're gonna. I would think there's a huge engine somewhere in this car. I don't know where it is, but I can hear. You know, that is bizarre
It's
noise.
uncanny.
It's coming from right underneath you, isn't it? It's coming from the, feels like it's coming out of the floor.
The sound system, this car has something called 3D sound, which I couldn't even begin to understand what that means, but it is an unbelievably good Burmeister?
Is it? That's who does it.
Burmster sound system.
Yeah.
Even the speakers are just works of art, aren't
They
they?
are stunning. No, they're absolutely stunning. But at the moment, then the batteries are around 75%, and you've got like still around 300 miles range, according to them.
Yes, the car is saying I can confidently do 230 miles, and if I'm careful, probably more like 300.
Right.
Which is, and yeah, we're on about 70% battery.
70%, that is
it's a lot of range.
Yeah, so it really is. It really is. Oh, you know, because I could tell it was like 350 plus. I was confident when I drove it for a very brief time, but actually you're looking at very close to 400 miles. It's all dependent on all those things: driving style, time of year, blah blah blah. But
always,
the fact that it can get close to 400 miles is extraordinary.
And that combination of the most aerodynamic car ever made, plus a monster 107 kilowatt hour battery. One complaint I must register with the EQS: unfortunately, it has fallen victim to the trend of rubby buttons where normal buttons would have been just fine. So, sunroof here. If I want to close that, I just have to stroke that either backwards or forwards in order to operate the sunroof. Now, we're English. I don't caress anything until I've met its parents and got a signed permission slip. It just feels wrong. And likewise on the wheel here, we've got the same sort of capacitive, touchy buttons that you'd find on something like the ID3, and they work pretty well, but this little slidey, scrolly wheel here in particular, it's just a bit imprecise. I really have to focus on what I'm doing, and it's not better than what was there before. That's my issue. Of course, if you're being driven, none of this matters to you at all.
Frankly, none of this matters a thing.
Couldn't care less, frankly.
Doesn't matter a jot.
So Scarlett, this is something to keep under your cap. This is the private car park of my very private club.
Ah, very good, sir.
So I'd rather you didn't spread this around on your Instagraph or whatever it is you young people use.
Certainly, let me get the door for you there, sir.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. Well driven, sir, and I'll give you a tinkle when I need to be picked up.
By all means. I just can't find the doors at the moment. Oh, that's why. It's because I'm not in park. Sorry about that, sir. And have an excellent conference.
Thank you very much.
Take care, sir.
Very good. Hello!
Yeah, no, I can pick you up later. I've got my boss's car for the day. Massage seats. Yeah.
Scarlett, let's get going. I'm being chased by a load of filthy Extinction Rebellion hippies.
Oh, bloody hippies. Disgusting.
Could you get my hand baggage, please, Scarlett? Thank you very much.
Concluding thoughts on the EQS then. Well, it's got a very big boot, that's for sure. This is... Yeah. It's a very special car. Incredibly luxurious. In terms of electric stuff. There's nothing quite like it. To be driven in, it's serene, comfortable, quiet in a way that no other electric car can compare to. To drive, I think I'd have a look at a e-tron GT or a Porsche Taycan first. They're better to drive, the controls are a bit more simple, they're better looking. And the EQS isn't perfect in other ways. I don't think it's the best looking car personally, and well, that Hyperscreen, probably better looking than it is good to use. All that being said, ultra luxurious car. Enormous range, massive boot, a very legitimate luxury option. So there we go, the Mercedes EQS. Let us know in the comments what you make of it, and if you have been, thank you for watching.
Come on, Scarlett, what are you doing, man? Don't dawdle. Pick your feet up.